Peace, Morris. You know, hypertension, cancer, high blood pressure, those things don't run in our families. Those things are caused by bad habits, eating wrong. Those things can be controlled. Those things can be corrected. Those things can actually be fixed and have a remedy. And I look at, man, so when they say stuff like hypertension and cancer, those things run, like you got doctors that be like, yeah, hypertension, and you got people that say they feed into that narrative where they say hypertension and cancer and all this stuff, alcoholism, it runs in the family. Fam, those things that I just named, hypertension and all that, those don't run in our family. Those come off decisions based off what we see, based off misinformation, based off people just saying shit just to hear themselves say something, A lot of people just be out here talking. They just say stuff because they heard somebody else say it, but they ain't never take the time to research nothing that they heard. They just go run with a story or a narrative that they heard somebody else say, that person heard somebody else say. And then it's a redundant cycle. Nothing get fixed. It's like, just like eating bogus ass food. It's the same thing when somebody doing bogus ass shit outside. It's habits. It's habitual. The habits is habitual. Just like eating bogus food, man. Just like drinking bogus drinks. It's habitual, man. And I be looking at it like, fam, our people really need like surgery. Our people really need from a crown to the sole of the feet, a surgery. And the surgery has to go from the entire body, but it got to start inside the mind. Because when you say that, automatically people put their shields up. Shields is up. And they shields go up, then they shut down automatically. A lot of people are just like that. They'd rather not deal with issues. They'd rather go with what they heard, or they'd rather go from what they believe in. They don't want to say, you know what? I don't know, so let me go find out. Nah. It's the ego and the pride. It's strange. That's why I see what the prophet was talking about when he was like, truth and falsehood are strangely mixed. It's strange how people, they cry, they beg, they complain for remedy. And then when remedy is presented, when solutions are presented, what do? If it's not acceptable to them and their belief system, they put their shields up and they shut down. It's strange, fam. It's really strange. Peace and love to all the Moors out there, man. That's standing on it. That's repping them principles. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It's really like a war. It's a war outside. And you wanna share information with people, and it'll be like they shields go up and they shut down. And they don't want to have nothing to do with remedy. But they crying for remedy though. They complaining for remedy. But when they get remedy, when they hit a remedy, nah, I can't go with that. Because that go against what I believe in. Then they're turning around like, well, how you know what you know? Or you think that you better because you saying that. And it's like, me saying what I'm not saying what you saying. You saying that. I'm not saying that I'm better than nobody. I'm not better than nobody. I'm me. I ain't better than nobody. I'm just me, myself. Kush Day. I ain't better than nobody. But you pick up this book from Robert Greene. It's called, what is it? The Laws of Human Nature. And it goes into that. The book is called Laws of human nature. Robert Greene. It breaks down, fam, like the psychology of people, humanity. And it's wild, fam. It's wild when people like they go with that myth like high blood pressure. It must run in my family. Smoking cigarettes, drinking, alcoholism, cancer. It runs in my family. No, it don't run in your family. It don't run in none of our family. It's caused from bad habits, lack of information. Now you apply that same thing to out here in the world. When you dealing with so-called people, it's like the mentality. Know how Kobe, R.I.P. Kobe, he had the Mamba mentality. Mike, how he had the killer be killed mentality. Like, fam, we gon' get this shit because we gon' win. We have a winner's mentality. Winners don't want to be around people that got negative energy. It's principles. It's all based off love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It's all based off that. When you got a high end, a high up, principle-minded mentality, you're based in principles of high principles, high science. And you come around people that's operating in a negative energy, a negative space, you're uncomfortable around that kind of energy. It's natural. You're around somebody that has positive energy. They exude positive energy. And you come around a crowd that got negative energy, you're going to be affected if you allow yourself to be affected. This is why fortifying the mind is crucial in these times right now. Fortifying the mind with principles, because it's all about principalities. Fortify the mind, fam. Our mind is really like a tank. It's really headquarters, for real. So if the mind is not fortified in principles, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and exercising law is not fortified in the conscious, the consciousness will be affected by who you're around. So you want to surround yourselves with people that's reflecting the same kind of frequency, energy, and vibration that you are. Feel me? But the mentality though, like this right here. Like my blood brother, everything L. He told me when I was a shorty, getting into like sports and all this stuff, real life. He told me this, man. I was a shorty. And he told me, he was like, when you compete, the crowd, they not gonna see what you do. When you compete, the way that you practice is the way that you gonna perform during the game. He told me this when I was a shorty, my blood brother. And that never left me. I ain't really get what he was saying at the time. I just was like, man, he being hard on me. He being tough. You feel me? But he was really mentally preparing me for like competing and whatnot, sports, killing shit. He was like, man, the crowd don't care nothing about the woulda, coulda, shouldas. The crowd didn't come to watch you perform. And they don't care about how much you should have did wind sprints, how many jump shots that you should have did. The crowd don't care nothing about all that. The crowd is there to see you perform. That's what the crowd comes out to watch the games, to watch the show. The crowd don't care about if somebody on TV don't know their lines because they stayed up all night, kicking it, partying and bullshitting. The crowd don't want to hear none of that. They want to see the show. They want to see you perform at the top, at the peak level, high performance. This is what they come out to see. So imagine somebody you watching in a movie, they mess their lines up. And the person that's a director, they don't cut and redirect that actor to get them lines straight. The whole movie will be messed up because it's supposed to be perfection. So look at the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Those universal principles are aligned just like the 7 Hermetic principles. They're there for us to look at, to exercise in our lives and move accordingly throughout the world. Don't nobody care about somebody that's saying they got a million excuses. I wish I would have did that. The woulda, coulda, shoulda type mentality. Don't nobody care about that type shit. Do you? Do you care about somebody that got the woulda, coulda, shoulda mentality? No, sir. You don't care about that, fam. You want to see what you came to see. Then I look at that and I'll be like, all right, you got some people, if we flip that same analogy, if we flip that to justice, it will say somebody that's getting injustice, if they receiving injustice for generations, abused for generations, mistreatment for generations, and then here you come with solutions. You come with remedies. And you say, well, you coming with law, you coming with civics, you coming with high science, high culture. You coming with a mentality that's scientific. You coming with remedy. But your ego is in check though. You good. You operating off Islam. You not operating off the lower self and ego. And then you come with information. And somebody who has that mentality, like a loser mentality, meaning, like, for example, you come what you come with as far as the principles, the civics, the law, and here they go. First thing they do, what they do, you already know. They come with that, man, well, what is that going to do for us? What is studying the law going to do for us? This is what they come with. That's somebody that got a loser mentality. Because if we was in the doctor's office, you go to the doctor office, do you argue with a doctor that's telling you, hey, listen, for your benefit, for your health, I suggest that you cut back on fast food. This is how wild it is. This is why truth and falsehood is strangely mixed. Sunday out of El Islam. This is why it's strangely mixed, especially with our people. Because when our people go to the doctor and they go get their checkup, right? You don't sit up in there arguing with the doctor when they give you a suggestion about how to correct your health. You gonna sit there, you gonna listen, your shields ain't gonna be all the way up. Of course, you're gonna ask questions because you want to live. You feel me? So you want to live, you're going to ask questions to the doctor. You ain't just going to be hopefully you're not just going to be a yes person when the doctor is telling you all these things. You're going to ask questions. You're going to be inquisitive. You're going to do research on what the doctor's saying. But you're not going to have your shields all the way up to not be able to receive information. Feel me? But when you leave the doctor office, you come outside and you receive abuse, mistreatment in the streets from slave patrol. They got them badges and guns. You receive abuse from them. And then you come across someone or you come across energy that's operating on a civic, lawful mentality, a principle-based mentality, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, uplifting, fallen humanity. You come across a living being like that in real time. First thing you do is the ones that have that mentality, like shields up, shut down mentality. When you come across them or they come across you and they open up a conversation with you, unlike the doctor office where they put their shields down, when they're outside the doctor office, they raise their shields up and they don't want to hear what you're talking about. Make that make sense. How do you go to a doctor office and ask this person for remedy for your body to fix your health, but then you don't receive You receive the remedy from the doctor, or you receive you're not even just you receive the remedy. People are more open to listen to people who wear white jackets, white coats. They wear the white coats. They more prone to listen to them. So what is it? I'm just brainstorming. So is it that they have a title as a doctor? Peace more. Is the confusion it's a trust issue? Because when our people go to a doctor, they don't have their shields all the way up, and they don't cut it off. They keep their shields at a moderate, medium rate. They lower their shields. That's why they even go into the building to go see the doctor. But when you say, well, our people don't receive justice because our people have a status that's in law that is a negative status. The status black, Negro, colored, people of color, Indian, Hispanic, Latino, when they hear that information, shields up, shut down. I don't want to hear nothing. Stop the conversation. Those are your opinions. Wow. So it's obviously a trust issue that our people don't even trust their own people, but swear they know God. And what did the brother CM say? How dare you say that you love a God that you cannot see, but you hate your brother and sister whom you see every day? Islam. How dare you? You love a God that you don't see, and you see your own people around you every day. And then they're telling you they're actually going to open up and they're going to share with you remedy for the abuse, the mistreatment, the injustice that our people receive. And you shut it down. You put your shields up, you shut it down. You don't even want to listen, but you will go to that European, that hybrid. You will go to somebody that's a so-called professional doctor. You will go there, you will listen, you will keep your mouth shut. You don't argue back and forth. And you will have an open mind because you trust them. And how many cases have come along throughout the years of doctors who do malpractice? And our people will still listen to these people. When they had the so-called pandemic going on at its highest peak, did you hear any mainstream media? Did you hear any of these doctors talking about, it was a few though, but they got shut down. Did you hear any of these so-called professional doctors sharing natural remedies? Did you hear any of that openly, publicly, out loud? Did you hear any of that? I'm talking about, like, it was droves of people who literally were just listening to these people. They ain't have their shields up. They were just openly walking up in there, listening to somebody tell them, there's not a natural remedy for what you have. You need to come down, get stabbed up, and then get boosted up a few times. Do you see what hopefully I'm doing a good job relaying this message. Because, fam, our people mentally have to just we got to get surgery. We mentally have to get surgery from our crowns all the way to the soles of our feet. Mentally. For real, man. Like, for real. Mentally, our people put so much trust, so much blind faith into these institutions that were literally set up to destroy us. We'll go up in there just open. No questions asked, no shields up, just walk right up in there. Let me go see the doctor. Let me go get a checkup. No cap. Just walk up in there and everything is good. Some people don't even ask questions when they go to the doctor. They just, I gotta go get a checkup. I gotta go see, I gotta go check the doctor out. I gotta go check on my high blood pressure. Meanwhile, the doctor ain't suggesting you no kind of roots, no kind of natural herbs. Fam, it's a natural herb for every so-called disease on the planet Earth. It's a natural root. It's a natural herb. There's a natural remedy. There's a natural plant for every so-called disease that's known on the planet. That's facts. No cap. Natural. But when you make suggestions to our people, and then you be like, all right, there's something in law called color of law. If you agree to be a color, you're placed in color of law. You share this information with our people. First thing they do is, nah, it's because, see, you just saying opinions and you just telling me what you feel. And I ain't trying to, this is what they say. They love saying this. I ain't trying to get locked up listening to you talk that law shit. And then you would say, when you go to the doctor office, they're giving you what they're giving you and your shields are down. But when you listen to Moore's talk, your own kind, your own people talk to you, you got your shields all the way up. But you complaining every day about the same old. How? This is why I said the truth and falsehood is strangely mixed with our people. Our people are hard-headed. Hard-headed. Our people is hard-headed, boy. Stiff-necked and stubborn. I'm talking about stubborn to the point where you like, how do you go to the hospital? You see all the malpractice that happens in hospitals. They don't talk about natural remedies. They talk about popping a pill for something that could be solved with natural herbs, natural remedies. You don't listen to that kind of conversation. You listen to the conversation of just come in, put your arm out. We're going to draw some blood. It's always drawing some blood. This is why I said, man, get back to the principles. The mental surgery has to be done on self, by self. The mental surgery. It's got to be done by self, for self. You go on a doctor, they always ask you, yeah, we're going to need a tube of blood. We're going to draw some blood out. You go pick up some books and you go do a little research on them shamans. Them shamans weren't drawing no blood out, fam. Those shamans, they will go to the earth. First, they would mediate amongst the shamans. They would mediate amongst the community. They will find out what your symptoms are. Then they will go over there to the jungle. They'll go over there to the garden. They'll go over there where the green stuff is at. And they're going to find some roots. They're going to find some herbs. They're going to find some natural remedies. That's where they're going to go. They're going to go back to the garden. That's where they're going to go. Like my mama said. My mama say, everything came from the garden and everything going to go back to the garden. That's what my mama say. Because we all seeds from the cosmic garden. Feel me? We are all seeds from the cosmic garden. All of us. So we came from the garden and we going to go back to the garden. We're going to go back. We came from our ancient foremothers and forefathers. Peace, Cujo. And we're going to go back to our ancient foremothers and forefathers. This is why there's no death. This is why it's no, see, the fear and people's mentality is strange because they ain't got a problem going to a doctor. You ain't got no problem running your ass to a doctor to go let them do some kind of westernized medicine on you. You don't ask no questions about what's in the inoculation. Remember that video, old girl? She was like, I'm not asking what's in the injection. I'm not asking no questions. I'm sticking my arm out and I'm taking it. You remember that video? Wow. These words came out of her mouth, fam. She ain't asking what's in the injection. You just gonna stick your arm out and you gonna take it. What? Wow. And this is why I say our people really got to go back into self, man, and just really like stop having so much blind faith and so many corporate institutions whose mission is to literally genocide the Aboriginal indigenous peoples off the planet. They will keep us here to use us as batteries, but they not trying to fix nobody. That's why what do hospitals they prescribe the most? They prescribe prescription pills. Think about it. And while we on the subject of blind faith, you got people who will just be like, yeah, go through life with the whole reminiscing about their childhood, reminiscing about when they played sports, reminiscing on how cold they was, allegedly, reminiscing about this and that, just reminiscing, just talking about stuff like fam, that what you talking about, that really don't have no real significance on shit. You got more people that know what's going on with TV shows than they know about what's going on with these corporate quasi-jurisdiction, quasi-territorial people that's out here literally genociding their own people. They tell you about power. They tell you about ghosts. They tell you about snowfall. They could tell you about, Will Smith. They could tell you about how much LeBron had, how much Steph and them had, Draymond Green, what he got kicked out the game for. They could tell you all this BS. And it's a time and a place to talk about that shit, though. Like it is. It's a time and place to talk about everything. But when you go outside, and we all outside, and we see that the mistreatment that our people constantly receive for generations, why ain't that civics in the conversation? Why are the shields always up when a conversation kick off about knowledge of self? Shields up. Shields up. I ain't lying. Shields up. Then they go into it's wild when people say, listening to you, people will be like this. People strange. They'll be like this. They'll be like, well, you ain't no attorney, so how you know what you know? Then you would say something like, well, if you looked up the Supreme Court docket, the case number called Shuttlesworth versus Pennsylvania, it says in that case docket, this is from the Supreme Court, the highest court on the land. They say, you ain't no attorney, Kush. How you know what you saying? Then you say, the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land, right? Then they'll be like, yeah. So what the fuck that mean? Then I say, the Supreme Court had a case called Shuttlesworth versus Pennsylvania. Then they'll be like, so? And you say, then I'll be like, well, that case right there, it said that states cannot license liberties. Then they be like, what that shit mean? How am I gonna be able to use that shit outside? Then I say, what does it mean? And how can you use it outside? You can use it outside because, did you hear what I just said? The Supreme Court ruled that no state can license a liberty. So when they say you need a driver license to drive, to travel, when you need a marriage license for you and your significant other to tie the knot, when they say that you need a permit to build on your equity, your house, your condo, when they say that you need some sort of certification from them, permit from them, document from them, it's null and void. Then they'll stand there looking, and then they'll be like, man, I ain't gonna use that shit, man. You trying to get me locked up. Wow. But mind you, these are the same ones that be doing all this. They do all, people are strange because they do all this when it's coming from their own people. And they'll say, you ain't no attorney. How you gonna tell me that? Fam, there's something in the Constitution where it says there's no titles of nobility shall be given to anyone from the corporation of the U.S. That means attorneys, they're not who you think they are. Attorneys, there is no license to practice law. So put that together. Attorneys are turning you over. Right. Attorney's job is first, their obligation is to the court. They work for the Bar Association. This is what they do. And this is who they are. So, but it's strange though, because when you share this with our people, they shields go up and they shut down. But when they go to a doctor, a hospital, when they go to somebody that works in the corporate world, they ears is wide open. They ears is like, bing, wide open. They so willing to listen to them. It ain't even funny. And then you will be like, all right, just because a slave patrol has a badge and a gun, it doesn't give them jurisdiction over you. What you mean by that? What you mean they ain't got jurisdiction? They got a gun, shit. They got a badge. What you mean? So, is it the gun and the badge that got you listening to them? Or is it that they're coming and they're bringing you under charges because you committed a crime? Think about it. Do you really fear them because you feel like you committed a crime? Or is it you stop in your tracks and you listen, you pull over in your car, you listen to them because they got a gun, they got a badge, and they always on killer shit? You see? One of the Moors just put it up right there. I told you, this stuff is on public record. Murdoch versus Pennsylvania. 319 U.S. 105. No state shall convert a liberty into a license and charge a fee therefore. This stuff, I don't have time to make none up, man. I don't have time to make none of this up. But people is strange because when you share this information, they'll be like, you trying to get me locked up. I ain't trying to go to jail. I'm just going to do what they tell me to do. But then you the same one that's going to cry and complain that you got pulled over. Or you'll see a video and you'll pull your phone out and be like, look, Kush, look what happened. Look what happened to them. They didn't kill another one of our people again. Then I say, well, you said that this information that I'm talking about and Moore's be talking about, you say that's going to get you locked up. So you a woulda, coulda, shoulda ass motherfucker. You coulda, you shoulda, you woulda if your ass wasn't afraid. But you afraid though. You afraid. And it's all right to be afraid to a degree. But if that fear, that woulda, coulda, shoulda is your focal point, and you say, I don't want to go into that law. I don't want to study that history. I don't want to know about my culture as Moors. I don't want to know about that because I'm going to get locked up. You a woulda, coulda, shoulda ass motherfucker. Period. And what makes that genocidal? That woulda, coulda, shoulda mentality. What makes that mentality so dangerous is if you have children. And your children, you're a parent. So they got all this transgender rainbows and all this other weird stuff, this strange stuff going on in front of our eyeballs. It's going on. And you got children, you got nieces, you got nephews, and you don't want to share no civics, no law to tell them what they're doing. There's a mental illness with that. You want to be like, no, I'm going to tell my children that they're just free to do whatever they want to do. Everyone is free to do what they want to do. But see, there's a principle called justice. No different, like shout out to RZA. I seen RZA, he was talking about the 12 jewels. Everyone has free will to do as they please, as long as they don't hurt other people. What's happening in society right now is people's free will is not being checked when it comes to doing that with children. You got the free will and the right to do whatever you want to do in your damn house. You got that right. Do whatever you want to do in your own privacy. But what you ain't finna do is bring that shit in front of children. That's what you ain't finna do. And corrupt a child's fragile mind. That's what people got to start putting their foot down and start looking at the genocidal patterns of what society is trying to force feed upon the children. If that don't get people to be like, all right, we need to really talk to our children, sit them down. We need to sit ourselves down and we need to perform a mental purge, a mental surgery on ourselves. Because it's a lot of people that are trying to justify mental illness when it comes to doing what they do, their lifestyle, and they're trying to put it on children. That's a mental illness. That's mental. You're not born that way. That's a mental choice that you're choosing to make. That's not something that you saying, I was born that way. So if you was born, listen, if somebody was born with a defect, some kind of deformity, you would automatically put that as a deformity. It would be classified as a deformity, right? So since that person was born with a deformity, wouldn't you say at that point that person, he or she, they need to seek a remedy for that deformity? It shouldn't be encouraged like, yeah, this is just what it's finna be. If they choose to keep it deformed, or if they want to get it corrected, who would they do? Who would they go see? They would go see somebody qualified to take care of that deformity. But that equation right there is not being talked about. What they doing is they trying to shift the narrative into gaslighting and dark psychology on people that speak about, listen, that's a mental illness. For a full grown man or woman to parade around in front of children and try to convince the child or children that they're okay, you got a full beard on your face, fool. And you trying to walk around children and tell them you're just being yourself? Nah, man. Nah. This is what I'm talking about breaking these, like the genocidal, sitting back, not saying nothing, not getting involved. You just want to sit back. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, ass motherfucker. You just sitting back. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. You ain't getting involved. You ain't getting involved. Get involved. Get involved. How do you get involved? People, I hear somebody right now talking about, well, how the hell we get involved then? Easy. You start putting your energy into things that have substance. It's cool to have fun, watch the game. You know what I'm saying? If you burn some, you do what you do. My thing is the young and the unborn. That's my thing. the youth and the unborn. You want to do something in the now? Talk to the youth and the unborn about having mental awareness, principles, rights. Whether you're talking about the Declaration of Human Rights, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, whether you're talking about the Declaration of Rights of Indigenous Peoples, get involved. Because the children are growing up, and don't think that they like got it like kind of a mistake, like they not putting it in every pretty much TV show. It's not a coincidence that you see that type of lifestyle being promoted on damn near every show now. That ain't coincidence. They're grooming people for that to be a so-called new normal. That's like, what do you mean? It's no such thing as a new normal. It's either normal or it's not. It's either natural or it's unnatural. It's no gray area. The new normal. Get your goof ass on. The new normal. Nah, man. And that's what it is. Cause you got people right now that's talking about they did Ramadan. Okay, cool. You did Ramadan. Okay. After Ramadan is over with, are you going to go back to those same patterns that you was on before Ramadan? This is what I'm saying about just doing blind faith rituals. Okay, you did Ramadan. That's good. That's what's up. You got some learning with your Ramadan. That's what's up. You guys, you stepping on the path. That's what's up. I'm proud of that. That's what's up. You should be proud of yourself. You stepping into that. But Ramadan, Salat, and those things, those are rituals. Those are just rituals. That's not everything that it's about. Those are good though. Those are just, you did Salat, you did the Ramadan. That's what's up. But when you go into remedies, you have to go into the science. Islam, I, self-law, and master. That's the science to become better. That's the principles, the 7 hermetic principles of becoming aware of the universe and of self and of Allah and of what is your mission on this particular planet. What is your mission? What is your purpose? What? When you talking about astrology, when you dealing with astrology, you going into, okay, you're identifying your sun, you identifying your moon, you are identifying your rising. So you would say, all right, you identifying self. So when you start identifying self, you look for things in your chart that's going to track out patterns, things that you can work on of your so-called birth chart. You start to see things that's in your birth chart that you need to work on. You might have to, like me, I got to work on certain things with my own life chart. Patience, it's a gang of shit that I got to work on. I'm on a path. I ain't at no perfection point. I'm on a path. That's just realization. I'm on a path to it, but I'm not declaring myself a more and then being like, yeah, I'm there. I've reached the apex and I've declared that I'm more. Now I'm at the apex of all apexes. No, sir. Not for me. Nah. That's not realistic. It's a journey. While we're having this human experience, it's a journey. We got to go through different levels of enlightenment. It's not just saying you're a more and you good. Nah, you got to fight. Every day you got to fight. Every day strive to be better than yesterday. This is an everyday evolving ascension. This is what it is. But People that did the Ramadan, they stuck on the Ramadan. They did their Ramadan. Their Ramadan is over with now. So they gonna go right back. A lot of people, not all, but a lot of people who just stuck on Ramadan, they gonna go into, I did my Ramadan, my good deed for the year is over with, I'm straight. And then they find themselves sooner or later drifting back to those same bad habits because we're not grounded. A lot of our people want remedy, but when you say the remedy is in knowledge of self, their shields go up and they shut down. This is what happens. And this is from generations of grooming, social engineering, genocide. These are generations that our people have seen that. So when you look at your parents, it's not exactly our parents' fault because they only got what they got. They only got what they got when they was coming up. The question becomes, with all of this technology that we have in today's times, what are you doing with it? 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 All this technology, you could tweet some, you could write something, you could pull some information up, you could watch a video from anywhere at any time, right in the convenience of your own damn phone. What are you doing with it? What are you doing with it? Or are you just gonna be on rituals, and are you just gonna be on woulda, coulda, shoulda? And your babies, they grow up and they gonna look at your ass like, dang, you ain't telling me nothing about my nationality? You had all that technology. You didn't share nothing about nationality? Nothing? You didn't share nothing about the 5 components of a natural living being is mind, body, soul, nationality, and creed? You didn't. I was growing up. You didn't share none of that with me. And you had all that technology right there at your fingertips. And you didn't share nothing. You didn't look up nothing. You didn't share nothing with me. Imagine your child grow up and they start saying that to you. Wow. How is that going to eat at your conscience? How much is that going to eat at your conscience that with all this technology that's outside, learning about history, learning about law, learning about astrology, learning about science, learning about how to grow your own food, learning about what the police is and what the police ain't, learning about what them so-called magistrates wearing them black robes up there, what they really is and what they really not, learning about how our words are magic and how our words can affect and manifest, construct or destroy our realities. Learn about all this in real time. We could do that. So your children ask you, when they get about 10, 11, 12, they start asking you these questions. What are you prepared to say? What are you going to say? I ain't had time because, I was working. So you was working and you ain't have no time to say, all right, let me get a half an hour. Let me get a few minutes. Let me look up something on rvbaypublications.com. Let me look up a little something throughout my day and my night. I could look up a little something I could snatch a book off khalifamedia.com. Let me go to Canaan Land Moore's YouTube page and let me just watch a video or something. Let me just get a little some of that in my day and my night. You got 24 hours like everybody else got. Let me go check out Khalifa Society. Let me go check them out and see some about my birthrights, my nationality. Let me go check a little something out. Nah. You think your babies, when they about 10, 11, 12, 13, you think they're going to want to hear you say, I would have did it, I should have did it, I could have did it, but I ain't had no time. Do you think your children when they get pulled over, when they start getting behind the wheel, and then here you come later on when they didn't hit 16, and here you come now talking about some, well, this is what you should have did. This is what you should have did. They gonna look at your ass like, how you telling me what I should have did, what I could have did, when you knew this information this whole time and you ain't say nothing while I was growing up? Hell no. I'm talking about respect. They gonna love you because them your children, but the respect factor, nah. They ain't gonna hold you as the same because you made the claim like, well, why didn't you do this? Nah. No, sir. No, sir. Hold on. Some reason the light went out. Wow. IG just they just zapped the whole demo. Wow. That's crazy. Now that's crazy. Wow. So man, that's crazy. That's crazy right there. That's wild. So, I'm just venting right now, man. I'm just in the car right now. I just felt like beaming something out, man. Real rap. Ain't nothing to it though. But hopefully y'all got some. Jamal, peace more. Hopefully y'all got something from this beam out. It's always love, man. Building with y'all mores, man. We gotta start doing surgery with the mind, man. We gotta do surgery with the mind. We got to start doing mental surgery with the mind. You say you spiritual. Listen, before I slide. When somebody says that they're spiritual, so you would say, you spiritual, huh? All right. So you're spiritual, that means, do you meditate? Do you do yoga? Because that's spiritual. So do you meditate? Do you do yoga? Because spirituality is the activation of breathing techniques for the glandular systems in the human body. That's spirituality. And if you look up the Circle 7, or you look up the Moorish Quran questions, if you look that up in the back of the book of Exhuming of a Nation, book reference, questions for Moorish Americans, for Moors. If you look that up, Noble Drew Ali the Prophet, he expounds on spirit. Truth is spirit. So when you saying you're spiritual and you don't meditate, you don't conduct breathing techniques to activate your chakras, you're not dealing with spirituality. You just dealing with dogma, meaning you just going by what you heard, a commercial, you lit up some incense, and you played with some rocks, and you wrap some stuff around your wrists and your neck. Rituals, man. I'm gonna probably beam on something later. We gonna dive on that. People talking about some, I deal with spirituality and nah. Rituals. Spirit is the breath. That's the truth. When somebody says they speak in truth, that's the spirit. The holy breath. That's the truth. That's the spirit. When you out here lying, nah. You on the dark side. Or when somebody says, well, if they say, well, I deal with spirituality. Spirituality, that's breathing techniques. Do you deal with law? Do you deal with civics? Do you deal with government? Do you deal with a militia? Do you deal with anything about science that you can actually apply, exercise in real time in the world? Do you deal with that? Nah, I just deal with spirituality. I meet up with my tribe. What does that have to do anything with remedy? So you say you spiritual, you practice, you say you spiritual, but I ask you, do you meditate? Do you do yoga? You say no. So how are you dealing with spirituality? You see what I'm saying? People, it's strange. It's just strange, man. Truth and falsehood, it's a strange mix. It's strange, G. Do you deal with knowledge yourself? Huh? Do you deal with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice? Do you deal with food, clothing, and shelter? Do you deal with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding? And even you ones out there that's dealing with gods and earths, you say you dealing with gods and earth science. Okay. You deal with gods and earth science, you're still dealing with Moorish science. They took Moorish science and they went over there with it. But if you look at the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, you will find those same principles in your 12 jewels. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Bam. It's in there. Justice is in there. Come on, man. But I'm finna move around though, man. I'm trying to get some food. Just wanted to drop some positive out there in the ethers, man, cause don't be no woulda, coulda, shoulda. And your children growing up and they ask you questions when they get older, and here you go. Now you want to start talking to your children and being like, yeah, this is what you shoulda did. This is what you coulda did. They ain't finna listen to you. So talk to them while they babies, while they young. Don't wait till they get 16, get pulled over by the slave patrol. Now you want to start sharing what they coulda did. They ain't trying to hear you, man. And stop putting your shields up when you hear somebody speaking, and then you like, well, how you know that? You ain't no attorney. Shuttlesworth versus Pennsylvania. States cannot convert rights. Liberties, they cannot convert liberties. You can't convert a liberty. You can't convert a liberty on nothing into a license. You can't convert no kind of rights and liberties into licenses and then be like, you're going to pay us, the U.S. corporation, and we're going to tax you because your right ain't really a right. Your right is really a privilege. And this is what so-called people of color got. So-called Hispanic, Latino, you don't have rights. You have privileges that can be given and taken away because you classify yourself as a subject to the U.S. corporation instead of a national citizen, which is your birthright. Your birthright as Moors, dark complexion beings, as Moors, our birthright has us at the highest status of the land. Nationals, Negro, colored, black, Native Americans, Indians. If you choose to be those brands, then you're agreeing to be in a subservient classification of subjugation. You're a subject. All right. Study, man. Finna slide though. All right. Much love, Morse. I might beam something out later. Ain't no telling. All right. Peace, Morse.